So, subscribers, I know, viewers, I know, this isn't my typical video, and the reason why I'm doing this video is for one reason, okay? Because we've got something really exciting coming up. My next video I'll be publishing is my 100 greatest players of all time, and I need some extra time to finish up that video. And so I really can't wait to put that one out. There's a lot of changes since I last put out my greatest players, which wasn't actually a 100. But this is a really interesting conversation, and it's not just contained to basketball this time, because myself and Dario, although we are huge NBA fans, we've kind of been getting into baseball more recently, because whenever you see greatness, I think in any sport, like serious greatness, it gets your attention. When Tiger Woods was killing it in golf, I watched. Okay, I'm not a big golf fan, but I watched for Tiger. When Tom Brady and Peyton Manning had their rivalry, I watched because I want to see greatness. Okay, and now in baseball, we've got this guy named Shohei Ohtani who is just a freak. Literally one of the best pitchers in the game, one of the best hitters in the game. And what he's doing in the playoffs, many of the things he's doing, we've never seen before in baseball. No. But Wemby is a freak in his own right as well, because we've never seen a 7'5" guy move the way he's moving and putting up the stats that we haven't seen in a long, long time. Through just the first 4 games of the regular season, he's averaging 31 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 block shots on 60% shooting. And they're 4-0, so it's leading to winning, which was our biggest criticism against him for his first 2 years. Yeah. So between the NBA and the MLB, there's a lot of excitement because we're seeing guys who are 2 unicorns of the league. The question is, who is the bigger unicorn? And we're paying attention to both of these players quite closely. And just to be, upfront, I totally stole this segment from the Dan Patrick show because I thought it was awesome. And I was like, oh, we got to do that on the Johnny Talks pod because that is really the great question right now because the NBA season just started up and Wemby's killing it. And the World Series is going on right now. Shohei's killing it as well. So Dario, what are your thoughts on this unicorn comparison? Who's more of a unicorn?
Honestly, I feel like no matter who you pick, you're gonna just be wrong later on. Like you're just gonna see they're both gonna go insane, and then this is gonna be one of those things like, how did you pick this guy because he whatever? But honestly, so Wemby obviously like he's unique in like the physical way. Like he's a 7. You don't see guys who are 7'5" and who can move like him. Like
yes,
and then he's showing greatness on both sides of the ball, which we haven't seen like I don't think ever, right? Like you could like the tallest guy is probably Ralph Sampson that was possibly as good as him, like not even. And so it is no doubt in terms of physical presence, Wemby is definitely the most unique, but Shohei like he's pretty much the modern day Babe Ruth. Like he's to me it's in a you could say more competitive era, but if you look at like when Babe Ruth was playing, I think the average miles per hour thrown was like 70 to 80, maybe up to 90 max.
Right.
And now it's like 95 miles per hour is like what they average in the MLB. So it's like at another level. And then at the grandest stage, he's just showing that he's the best, like in both ways. Like he dominated a game in a way that we don't see in any sport. Like this is like, and it's not really a one-on-one sport, but he made it that kind of right. Like so if I had to choose, which I feel like no matter what, I'm gonna sound crazy later, but I'm probably gonna go Shohei only because the two like doing it and then also helping bring his team to World Series too. Like obviously they got a freaking squad, but just this World Series and not this World Series, but last playoffs, like the 10 strikeouts, 3 home runs, like the pure dominance on both sides and winning that to like go into the World Series is just like electrifying. So I have to go Shohei just because, and I know this is not who's going to be better in their career or whatever, but like Wemby still has to show so much more, and Shohei's like he did the 50 stolen bases last year, and when he had to be DH because he was coming off an injury for his elbow, so he couldn't pitch. And instead, they said you're going to be DH for the whole season, and instead he had 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases, which had never been done before. And then now he's doing what he's doing now. And I think he's a unicorn.
Yeah, so we're talking to mostly a basketball audience because all of our videos have been for. I'm not saying there isn't any overlap, but let me give some context here.
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani is in his early 30s, and like I said, he's probably one of the top two, I would say, hitters in baseball. And when he's healthy and pitching, he's one of the elite pitchers in baseball as well. And that game that Dario just referenced, many people are considering the greatest playoff performance of all time. It was game 4 of the championship series that got them to the World Series, where he hit 3 home runs and he struck out 10 batters, pitched a shutout for like 6 or 7 innings. And so literally dominated every aspect of the game. And in a basketball sense, there's really no comparison for that. You know how you see like the comments on social media that are like, explain this in basketball terms. You really can't, because every player naturally plays defense and offense, but elite pitching and elite hitting, that is just not normal in baseball. You have to go all the way back to, early 1900s, like Babe Ruth type of thing. But even in a way, Babe Ruth isn't Shohei, because I'll show footage of Babe Ruth running around the bases.
Yeah.
Shohei, the year before he got back to pitching for the Dodgers, got 50 home runs and over 50 stolen bases.
Yeah.
And before that, it was just a 40-40 club. He invented the 50-50 club by stealing bases as well. So that's ridiculous. But a lot of people right now are saying Shohei is the greatest player of all time. It's funny because a lot of people hate the Dodgers right now, because in a way, the Dodgers right now are being criticized for ruining baseball because there's so much money being put into that team that in a way, they're kind of like the 2017 Warriors in a way, really. Like
I guess, but the Yankees existed for 20. They have 20.
And they don't have a salary cap. No, for sure. But people want a salary cap because of this kind of dynasty and because of this kind of dominance. I mean, they had just won the World Series, before Shohei in 2020. They were there in the World Series in 2018. Like, they were a team who was a championship team. Then they added a 10-year, $700 million player.
Yeah.
But people right now are saying, a lot of people are saying Shohei's the greatest player of all time. But there is also people talking about Wemby saying that this guy could be, again, 4 games into his 3rd season in the NBA, people who are even Jordan fans are saying this guy could become the greatest player of all time, because that's how terrifying it is what we're seeing. Like, just utterly ridiculous. Again, 5 blocks per game in the modern NBA. We only saw that really in like the 80s, and guys got close to it. Like, I think David Robinson had like 4.6 one season. And that was like feasible. That like it actually happened because so many shots were taken around the basket. But now with so many 3-pointers and stuff, I never thought we'd see blocks numbers like that again. But Wemby's doing it because he just naturally covers so much ground with his agility and everything. But I think your breakdown is right. And it was funny. Before you said it, I was going to break it down the same way. From an athletic specimen type standpoint, Wemby is like, I think this is how people, from all the books I've read, I have various books on Wilt Chamberlain, that sort of thing. From all the archived articles I've read, I think this is how people felt about Wilt Chamberlain when he was first coming into the league, where this guy's just a freak. Like, he just looks different out there on the court. So from a physical standpoint, you got to say Wemby. But from a talent standpoint, it's hard to argue against Shohei because, just to draw in other sports, I think it'd be like Tom Brady out there dominating, but on the other side of the ball, he's also like Ray Lewis. Like, that's the closest thing. There is no analogy for basketball.
I think with Wemby in particular, though, he's the perfect guy to compare because he is doing it, or at least right now. I mean, sure, it's only the first 4 games, but he's looking elite defensively and offensively. And the thing with like Wemby is just he shouldn't be able to dribble and move the way he does. Will Chamberlain, one thing over Wemby, he's definitely. I think Will Chamberlain's just more athletic than Wemby is, like in terms of like how high he could jump, how fast he could run. Probably like
Olympian
I'm sure
leaper, sprinter.
He was just a incredible athlete. So, but Wemby in terms of like the dribbling and the skill, like his skill, like being and now that he's like learned some of that footwork, you could see the footwork now, like, and he's only 21. Like, that's how old is Shohei's 30, I think. So that's the thing where it's like Wemby's 21. He could, if he's amazing, he possibly could go for 15, 20 years. And Shohei's, been in the league for a little bit, but he's just now like reaching this dominance. So you could possibly say that because of the age. But Wemby's probably the perfect guy when you talk about what what kind of performance for the NBA would be comparable, I think Wemby just had like a 40-point, or maybe it was 30 points and 9 blocks, something like that.
To open the season, he had
Yeah.
40 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 blocks on 71% shooting. In
Yeah.
the second game, he had
Yeah.
nearly had a
That's one.
triple-double with blocks. He had 29
Yeah.
points, 11 rebounds, 9 blocks, and that was on 56% shooting. Again, he's
Yeah.
shooting 60% on the year right now, and he's
Yeah.
just starting to get his feet wet. Like,
Yeah.
this is early in the season here.
And
So,
not to mention, sorry, my bad, Johnny, but
Good.
that Dallas game, like, is Dallas not the perfect team that you would say if you had to pick a team to say stop Wemby? Is Dallas not that team? You
Damn,
got
that's a good
two,
point.
right? Those are they have two light between Lively and AD. Those guys should be able to stop him from getting to the rim, and he just completely made them look like ninth graders.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Anthony Davis has been a guy for years now who's been in the conversation for, or like a nice pick early on in the year for the Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And yeah, like genuinely just made him look like a child trying to guard a varsity player. Like,
Yeah.
it was disgusting.
Yeah, when you're 7'5" versus 6'10", that's a 7-inch advantage. Like that's like trying to guard, like if we were trying to guard Wade, like, or at least me, because I know you're 6'3". Like me, I'm 5'10". That's me trying to guard Wade. Like it's not gonna happen. Like like
Yeah. And so I think it's an interesting conversation. I think it's a really cool because it just shows that a couple of sports are in a really, really good place right now. But again, I think to Shohei's advantage, he's having that playoff success as well. I mean, he just set a record for making it on base 9 times in a World Series game because he hit a double, a home run, a double, a home run. And then they were like, screw this. They intentionally walked him 4 times. And the 5th time was like basically an intentional walk as well. And so the record in the World Series up to that point was 6. And he got on base 9 times in that 18-inning game. So yeah, just crazy, crazy stuff. But it's exciting stuff. But as I was saying, Shohei's advantage is he plays for the baseball equivalent of the 2017 Warriors. Yeah. Wemby's still on a young and upcoming team right now, but Wemby's getting to a point now where I'm like, dude, all he needs is one other superstar. The way these guys have been teaming up and making their super teams, where James Harden and Kevin Durant and all these different guys are trying to build super team their way to a championship. Bro, if Wemby does that with 1 star, definitely with 2, it's over. It's a wrap. Like, just give them
Wemby,
they're
Anthony
done.
Edwards, and that'll make me like a real big Spurs.
and Wemby,
oh my God,
Giannis and Wemby, like Jokic and Wemby, Steph Curry.
Well, I'm
and
thinking
Wemby.
guard, like because you always want the guard. I feel like guard center,
the big
like,
and the little.
Just, yeah. I just love seeing that.
For sure, but they'll get there too because they got some young Rookie of the Year players, candidates. Just some really good players. So it'll be fun to see. But if anything, I'm just stoked as a sports fan right now because these guys are amazing to watch.
Yeah.